Hi, welcome to Open House. My name is Mr. Gustavo Correa. I'm here to welcome you to Open House, and I hope that within the next couple of minutes, this explanation of the 4.5 grading scale that we will be using at the Palatine High School World Language Department could help answer some of the questions you might have. Rationale. This system is designed to encourage excellence as well as provide better opportunities for recovery from a low score when we talk about a traditional grading scale to our current conversion process, or known as the 4.5 grading scale. The math is quite different from the traditional grading scale, so here's an example of what it will look like. Students take an assessment and the teacher grades it. The assignment is created in the gradebook and then it is given a point value. The teacher enters a score on the scale, the 4.5 grading scale, which will be explained in a few slides. And then the grading system that we're using, Infinite Campus, gives the student a percentage of the point value based on that score on that assessment. Now, Infinite Campus does take an average of the total points earned and assigns a student a letter grade as an A, B, C, or D, etc. It is in how many points are earned and how the average of those points translates to a letter grade. The system on Infinite Campus is converting that of a traditional or more equalized grading scale with a letter grade based on each assignment. Here you see a screenshot of, on the left side you have the old system, which is all of this, the traditional scale, and then on the right side you see the new system, where we consider the more equalized grading system known as the 4-point scale. Now on the left hand side, if you can please note the average of the F. Traditionally, a student who would receive a 0 to 59 points on a grading scale would get an F. On the right hand side, you will see that we've equally distributed, or as best as possible, those of the 59 points into a letter grade. Please note the average of points earned on all assignments in the traditional scale versus the average points on the right hand side, as well as the percentage of points earned per assignment. Later on you will hear Dr. Rick Wormelli, who will talk about and explain the purpose of why we're going into this new grading system, trying to remove the negativity of getting rid of the 0. Here you see the 4.5 scale that really tells the parents and students how well they are doing. You'll see a 1. If a student receives a 1, that means the student has not met the expectations on the task, which means she must see the teacher to receive additional help. You also see the 2. If a student receives a 2, that means they have not yet met expectations, but they could use some help from a classmate or the teacher, but they're better on track than that if they're receiving a 1, where they need to see a teacher and kind of have a one-to-one or differentiated instruction. The 2 is they just need additional help. A 3, however, means students actually met the expectations. They're actually doing good work. The 3 would equate to a B. You're doing an okay job. You meet, but you're not exceeding. A 4, however, means that you're doing excellent work. Your student has exceeded the current expectations at this level. And a 4.5 is not only have you met the expectations at this level, but you've actually exceeded this current expectation and have met the following level expectations. This does not mean that they're moving up to a different level. It just means as far as the task is concerned, they have met and exceeded the current level and have met the following. Please know that teachers do have the option at this moment to give students a half point to indicate that they have almost reached the next level. For example, a 3.5 could be given, meaning that the student meets expectations with a 3, and a 3.5 means that they meet the expectations in part of the writing assignment and exceeds in a certain aspect of that rubric or in that assignment. The teacher then follows with a feedback on the assignment that could reflect what this 3.5 might mean on that particular assignment. So for example, on the top half, you're going to see that there you have the score of 0 to 4.5. You have the actual letter grade that the Infinite Campus is looking at, and then you have the percentage of the points earned. And here's the example how to read this slide. For an example, a 10-point assignment. The student receives 9 out of 10 points. The teacher enters a 4. And Infinite Campus will do the rest. Another example is if a student receives on a 10-point assignment a 5, then the teacher enters a 2 because that student has received 50% of that work. Now, Infinite Campus, by us entering a 2 on that assignment of a 10-point assignment or assessment, the Infinite Campus then puts a 2, which means the student receives a C, and so forth equally. On the bottom, you'll see the range of percentages or averages that earn the letter grade. So as we talk about a 10-point scale above, this grading scale is an even or equal distribution of percentages or ranges that make it easier for a student to recover from low grades. So remember that the teacher does enter a score from a 0 to a 4.5 on the 4.5 grading scale, but Infinite Campus calculates the points earned or averages them and then translates that average into a letter grade. When you look at Infinite Campus, it may be shocking, and we'll show you a snippet of what that might look like to see such low percentages, or to see that out of 10 points, they're only receiving a 1, 2, 3, or 4. Please remember those are not the points. That refers to if we enter a 2 on a 5-point, 10 points, that they're then getting a C if they're receiving 50% of the total points. You may want to reference this chart or this video throughout the school year to understand the world language grading scale. Here's an example of what your son or daughter's Infinite Campus would look like. You'll see here an assignment. You'll see the total points. You have 10. And you'll see here that it's 2, 2.5, 3, 4, 0, 1.5. That does not mean that it's out of 10 points. That is that student, in this case, will look at the 2. That 2 out of 10 means that they got 50% of the 10. If they got a 4, that means they got 90% of the grades, and so forth. So a big question we've had from students, if a student takes a unit exam, do they still receive a score on the 4.5 scale? Does that mean that a unit exam carries the same weight as a homework assignment if they are both out of 4.5? Well, the answer is that every grade is entered as one of the scores on that scale. However, certain grades will carry more weight because of each assignment or a point value. So an exam that might be worth 100 points would carry more weight because there are more questions versus a smaller assignment or quiz worth 10 or 20 points. Because of the total points, that's how you would average the weight. However, some teachers might choose to only have 2 categories, such as practice or mastery. And the practice would be worth 40% of the grades, and mastery, primarily large unit exams, would be worth 60% of the grades. And they would still use the same 4.5 grading scale, and that's how you would vary what assessments would carry more weight than the other, either because of the percentage difference set by the teacher or by the total points being used. So how does a teacher determine which score to give? Well, please see below on the convergence chart that if a unit exam has 100 questions and a student answers 80% of them correctly, then that student, by looking at this convergence chart, would range between 78%, 81, which is a 2.5 on this convergence chart. A student who earns an A would receive a 4. A B would earn him or her a 3, and so on. When dealing with percentages, the corresponding score on the 4.5 scale may resemble the traditional percentage breakdown or something close to it. Please note that this system is designed to encourage excellence as well as provide better opportunities for recovery from a low score. Using a traditional model, a student who would get a 59 or 60 and under, or a 10%, whatever that low percentage under 60 would be, would earn them an F, which will prevent them from turning things around and raising their grade within that 9-week quarter period, where a 4.5 scale, which is equally distributed, would give the student something to reach for. It is easier to go from a 1 to a 3, or a 1 to a 4, or 2 to a 4 points, versus actually going 59 points on a traditional grading scale. The sample rubric is based on the rubrics used by the College Board to grade the new AP Language and Culture exams. It is aligned to the 4.5 scale, and this rubric can also be used for various assessments. This is the College AP Board rubric that we've aligned with our grade scale, and you will see the range from 1 to 4.5. You then have the various categories, and this AP Cultural and Language rubric can be easily implemented from one task or assessment or assignment to another. Please see your teacher or myself, Mr. Correa, in the World Language Office. If you have any questions or concerns, please do not hesitate to contact us either by email, gcorrea, C-O-R-R-E-A, at d211.org. It is essential that the students' grades reflect their abilities, and we will be checking to make sure that the new grading system accomplishes this task, and understand that this system is designed to encourage excellence as well as provide better opportunities for a recovery from a low score. Have a good night. Please enjoy the video on Rick Wormelli.